Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.
All right, we have another Catalyst Sprint session. This is Catalyst Sprint number 7. We have another 4 projects joining us on this episode to go through their Catalyst proposals and find out exactly what they're building for the ecosystem. There are so many Catalyst proposals at the moment. I'm trying to get through as many as possible, but with over 1,500 proposals, it's pretty hard to get through them all, but here are some highlights for you. We have 4 guests, like I said. We have Roberto from Gimbalabs talking about Andamio. I think that's how you pronounce it. We have Marcin talking about TRISTOPIA coming up as well. We have Chris from Dozier, and then we also have the team from, I think it's Antonio or I think it's Antonio that's coming on, talking about zero knowledge proofs and the ZK Snark setup that they've got using Hydra. So pretty excited about that one as well. We've got a lot of technical stuff coming up. Now, I don't have a sponsor for this episode, but you know, if anyone does want to sponsor and get their project out there, you can always contact me and we can arrange something there and get your proposal or whatever it is that you're building the Cardano ecosystem out there. Now, I've just bring up Roberto onto this one here. And he should be coming in any moment now. These live sessions do take a little bit more organizing to do. And there's always a technical setup in putting these all together. So we'll just do a quick audio check there. And I think I can just hear the echo coming in. So we'll just turn on echo cancellation. Okay, I just got to mute. Okay, so the very first one that we have here is Roberto from Gimbalabs, and we're talking about Andamio. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a learning management system built on the Cardano blockchain. So pretty excited about this one. I'm in the learning space. I love doing that stuff. I use a lot of LMSs for our clients in building various websites and training courses and whatnot. So Roberto, whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer. You got 5 minutes to go through presentations, and then we got a quick 7-minute QA session afterwards. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you for having me here. Let me just set up screen share so I can show my slides. Okay. Thank you for having me here. My name is Roberto. I'm here representing Andamio, which is an initiative by Gimbalabs. And today I'll be talking about our Fund 10 proposal in the products and integration category, which is called Andamio by Gimbalabs, open source education and collaboration system. So what is Andamio? Andamio is a PBL-based learning management system that integrates both a treasury management system and a governance engine. For those that don't know, PBL stands for project-based learning. Project-based learning educational methodology that has traditional educational approaches, which focus maybe compliance and competition, focuses more on mastery-based knowledge and collaboration, which we think is a much appropriate approach for modern problems for both the present and the future. So what does Andamio allow us to do? Andamio allows us to simplify contributor onboarding to organizations, both within and outside of Cardano. By this, we mean not just in Web 3, but in Web 2. Selection, hiring, and onboarding is a very time and resource intensive process in any industry. And that leaves a lot of companies out of the possibility of executing an effective and efficient hiring strategy, talent acquisition strategy. This means that they have to rely on algorithmic tools that normally filter out using sometimes arbitrary criteria, such as formatting, a large chunk pool that could be relevant to the problems that the organization is trying to solve. also allows us to do is to provide potential contributors with educational resources where they can acquire project-related skills. This is another reason why we adopted PBL, is because it allows us to put students facing real-world problems that they can engage and solve. This has been proven by studies to be more engaging and motivating for learners, which we think is crucial in terms of not just learning, but upskilling and reskilling, which is something that we're going to need to be doing a lot more in the coming years. Excuse me. So while this is in no way a depiction of what we're currently building, it does help exemplify what we envision with Andamio, which is a network of educational resources provided by organizations in the form of PBL courses, where contributors can acquire skills that would get recorded in their identifier, which could be a token, right? In this way, the feedback loop for the student, the learner, can be shortened, whether that is through acquiring skills that reflect real world because they are solving real world problems, or through rewards that would be distributed through the treasury management system. The current process that we use, let's say alpha or beta, which is the Plutus PBL, which you can check out at plutuspbl.io, is a 4-stage process, which goes through onboarding, building back, specialization, and contribution. So students that go through the show can have the opportunity to show that they've mastered a subject through mastery-based assessments and progress through the course that way. And eventually, they are faced with the opportunity to contribute to solve problems, real problems of the organization. So the contribution stage is where they could contribute to, let's say, create front-end templates or smart contracts or any kind of real-world case where they can become candidates, say, more formal onboarding to organizations. And this applies to DAOs, but this also applies to Web2 organizations. So this is a 450,000 ADA proposal. And our main cost drivers are project management, beta testing, and market research and business analysis. This is our team. It's a very diverse group of professionals with their core in Gimbalabs. And we've been working on this product for the past 6 months. We would like to put this product in front of the Cardano community. Do you have any questions you would like to reach out? Those are our channels. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Roberto. And you have 7 seconds left on that. So timing was absolutely spot on. All right. So we've got a little bit of a QA session now, and I do have some questions for you here in regards to expanding on that a little bit. There is a little bit of echo coming in. If you, I don't know if it's possible if you can turn on echo cancellation on your end.
I think I can't because it's recording.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. We just got to make sure we're muting in between.
Okay.
Okay, so my first question here is the treasury management system side of things. I absolutely love how that all works and how you've integrated into the platform itself. Is unlocking the rewards and distribution of it, is that completely automated? And how does that unlocking happen?
So it is bounty system, just not a first come first serve and you sort of chase the bounty. We want to make it so that all participants, everyone who chooses to try to solve the bounty, gets some sort of reward out of it. But it is a way that you would allocate certain funds to a treasury that is related to a certain PBL course, which has certain problems. And as you solve problems, those are allocated rewards. When you go through a check, or is through a multi-sig process, or a that's why we have the governance engine, is to approve not just projects, but approve projects that go into the platform, but projects that are approved as completed, and then the rewards are distributed to the contributor.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense because in my own online course, I'm trying to work out that reward mechanism, and I'm finding bots are coming in, and people are just do the course once, know all the answers, and they just fly through it again and have a bot one, and they repeat the process just to gain those particular rewards. So it's good to have that bounty mechanism, that manual check there, to try and verify it. And with that verification process, you have you said identifier in your presentation. Is this to do with a did or something, or is it just a makeshift NFT or something that you're putting together? And if when you got a second, can you stop the screen share too?
Sorry, yes, stop screen share. Yeah, so it is a form of did that we're developing. I unfortunately am not the most technical one of my team, so couldn't go into much detail, but it is a form of decentralized identifier that we are currently. There is a form of sort of like a beta version that you can literally look in our Plutus PBL course right now. One of the first things that students do is mint their token, and that token is dynamically filled with metadata as they progress the course. So as you complete certain mastery-based assessments, your token reflects that mastery-based assessment that completion.
Gotcha, understood. So it's dynamically updating information there as you go through. That's a really cool approach and how you've done that. Absolutely amazing. Now, just to verify, you're delivering this in 6 months. Is there anything tangible at the moment that you guys have worked on, considering that you guys have built a lot of things in the past?
Yeah. In fact, I'm not sure that I'm supposed to show it, but we do have package is ready. So it's a core, right? It's an npm package pretty much. It's we're on the final stages, let's say, of development. This is the proposal's end goal is product development. The idea is to get us to go to market strategy. So what we want is to get the project to a point that it's sustainable in the shortest term possible. But the core of the Andamio instance, let's say, which is the treasury governance and the LMS, is in it. It's almost ready. I'd say 90% ready.
Okay, and the last question I got for you here, it's open source, so that means anyone else can possibly pick it up and start working with it as well in the future. So I'm just wondering how technical it is for someone like myself to pick it up and build my own LMS with what you guys have built.
Right now, um, let's say if you know npm or yarn, you can probably instantiate your own instance. You do not need to know a little bit of command line and those things, so it can be a little bit technical. The end goal is to make it sort of like WordPress. It should be just point click, and you can instantiate your own instance. The fact that it's open source, we want it so that any organization can just pick it up, instantiate, upload their content, create their treasury, fill it with ADA, and distribute rewards. But at the moment, yeah, the proposal includes an adoption and implementation component, because we want to make sure that both contributors and organizations use it. And that part of that is this tech support of learning how to implement the current beta.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. Because there's a lot of LMSs out there, and organizations. A lot of these teaching organizations or whatever don't have these technical skills to be able to run npm and yarn and whatnot to fire up an instance and get that all ready. Okay, but as long as there's documentation and another dev team can come in and do all that, so that's brilliant. Well, Roberto, thank you so much for joining me on the episode, and I'll make sure all the links and references are in the show notes for this live stream as well. So if anyone's interested in contacting you guys and helping support the project and giving you guys a vote, they can do so. So again, Roberto, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me here.
We'll catch you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
So we've got our next guest, and let me just check. Yep, there it is. Marcin is waiting in the lobby here, so let me just get him in. And it's just loading up. And Marcin, welcome back to the podcast. This is your live stream. We're going through another gaming project here. This one is called TRISTOPIA, the climate clash game. This one's a little interesting too. I went through the proposal and had a quick look over it, and I'd love to dig in a little bit more. Do we have a demo for this one as well, or is it purely just talking through the proposal?
Yeah, that's just a presentation that I prepared. So
Okay.
since this is all about onboarding Web2 studios and project to Cardano.
Interesting. All right, we'll share away and I'll start the timer.
Okay, so let's share my screen. And come on.
And while you're getting that working, I'd just like to remind people that you do have roughly 1 day left to register your wallets for voting on Project Catalyst Fund 10. So open up your wallet, click on the voting buttons that you can see, and then register or re-register your wallet if you need to, and you'll be able to participate in the upcoming vote. There is a snapshot date. I have to check that snapshot date where it checks how much ADA you have in your balance for your voting power, but please make sure you at least register your wallets within the next day. I haven't done it yet, so it's something I have to do as well. All right.
Oh God.
Marcin.
Okay. yeah. I guess 18th of August. So it's already today here over here in Europe. So let's start with TRISTOPIA, and you see the initial screen of my presentation, because we are onboarding and acting like Red Potion Studio, like an advisor, and we'll cover a little bit of project management and the game design, but all the dev stuff and everything else comes from Sanem Games, which is a studio based in Munich. An independent studio has released already a Steam game, more a narrative adventure. I met them on a conference and tell them everything nice about Cardano and how they can maybe integrate it into the next idea. And we talked about a little bit what we can do, and we can super quick thankful also to 8-bit Arcade, which is a platform um, connecting Web 2 and Web 3 games in the future. Will launched in December 2023, so this year. It's run by Russell Bryant from the UK, and he is connecting the people. And this conjunction with Red Potion, SanM, and 8-bit Arcade hopefully will be fruitful. And TRISTOPIA is our first project, and it's all about onboarding casual gamers without the need of pushing them into buying stuff or using NFTs. It's all about the game, and everything regarding digital ownership is really optional. So how are we going to do this? The mission and the key features of TRISTOPIA is to build up an Earth colony, survive and make it sustainable. So everything about the climate change, tonality, dystopian. You can imagine the Earth has some problems. It's far away in the future, let's say 200-300 years. And everything about this is to make your colony sustainable and make living on Earth worthwhile. So it will be a mobile native app, and the main mechanic will be match 3. I will show you some examples for this in a few seconds. But key features is digital property as a pure option. So we will not force anybody to own anything like NFTs or such stuff. Yeah, it will be all optional. Mobile app, casual game mechanic is king, and match 3, you see this already here, is all about fitting 3 different pieces into one order. You know this maybe for Candy Crush is the biggest casual game outside. There are puzzle quests and other games which use the match 3 mechanic. And this match 3 mechanic will be used to collect resources, place the building processes, and everything regarding where you can also craft things like in Minecraft and so on. All these things come together, and the match 3 mechanic, because we like to onboard casual gamers, will be the main feature. Nice. Think about this. We concentrate really the strongest casual gaming mechanics beside match 3 is of course crafting. So you will be able to create always new stuff for your colony. Yeah, super important. So people can discover new things, new recipes, new blueprints, and so on. The most important thing about this is that besides just playing a casual game, people like to have a challenge. Yeah, so compete and challenge in different ranking modes and so on will be one of the advanced features we like to present. So monetization is of course a huge always a huge point in terms of games. There are several things we like to implement, like a battle pass, of course, and so on. But on this, I guess at this time, this is not so super important. The most important thing is the gameplay. So you see already here a mock-up which is used for the mobile game. So you will start a settlement, and you see also other settlements. So this will be the other players. And the main thing is about making your colony sustainable. The second step in your game will be everything about building. So you will get a contract, you will start to harvest, you will start to craft and mix things to make your colony sustainable. Like in this mock-up on the left side, you see already different buildings. And in the end, it's all about energy. Yeah, how sustainable, how green, how the energy output will be in your colony. So you have to put your brain on and make the best out of it. The last step is you have, of course, to get green power as soon as possible. And for this, you will need something like a tech tree. So you will have always option, not only on the positive, but also on the negative side. Super fast example is you can use a dew collector, which is not very sustainable, but instead of this, you will be able to use a wind turbine for your colony to get more green energy out of it, and so on. So this is just a small part of the tech tree, which will be available in game. Yeah, last but not least, I mentioned it, the thing in casual games, it's all about ranking. So you have a usual Candy Crush ranking system where you will have daily quests and so on. And in the end, there is a leaderboard. And for the top 10 gamers, there will be always a reward. And this rewards will also be available as NFTs, of course. And you will be able to gather them, to hold them. So it is all up to you how you like it. You don't have to, but it will be one of the main features that you will be able to get everything in terms of rewards and achievements as an NFT. Yeah, so if you like the approach, if you like to onboard Web 2 studios, you should vote for Tristopia in the Fund 10 challenge.
All right. Brilliant, Marcin. Thank you so much for that. A little bit over time, so a little bit shorter on the Q&A side of things, but that's okay. Now, I do love the approach mobile. Very, very important. I think majority of the gaming I do these days is just on mobile. So definitely very, very important. The match Candy Crush side of things. Oh boy, I don't know how many hours I've spent. I don't want to even admit it. I can't remember which one it is, but like you find one, then you find another one. Like the Angry Birds match one is the one I'm playing at the moment, and I don't want to admit what level I'm at because it's rather embarrassing. Because it's so high. I've spent way too much time on it.
How much time? This is super important. How much time for our benchmarking, Peter? How much time do you spend on? Because everyone I know, they spend only 10 to 15 minutes maximum to play Candy Crush or Puzzle Quest or whatever kind of match 3 game they are using. So 10 to 15 minutes because everyone is super busy. Yeah. So how about you? How much do you spend on the current games you are playing on mobile? More than 10 minutes?
I have to admit it's more than 10 minutes. We're a little bit off topic here. I'll talk about me now. It's more than 10 minutes because like I'll be doing something in the background because like I'm waiting for a video to upload or video process, or I'm in between editing one thing and another. So I'll play for like 5-10 minutes and then get back to the next editing part that I need to do. So for me, it's just that extra time filler. I could be reading something or whatever it is, but I'll just play a mobile game for a few minutes while I'm doing post-production or something in the background. So for me, it's a little bit high.
Yeah, but that's perfect because we are aiming really for so this is the experience also which comes from the Web 2 studio Sanem Games, which is involved in it. They told me that that usual Web 2 or mobile game, the user is playing around 2 to 3 times around 15 minutes. So spending overall 45 minutes on one day, and we don't want no more, like the other game Ada Quest, where you have to spend several, sometimes hours a day, when you like to optimize your character and so on. So that's what we are aiming for. And most important thing is we need, of course, the input from the community. So that would be the most important thing, because if they tell us, okay, this is too long, this is too complicated, let's do it an easier way, we will do it. We will do it the way the community likes it.
Okay, cool. It's really interesting to find out the stats around that. But one of my questions for this before we have to move on to our next guest is I love the idea of optional digital property. So we don't need to have those lots or need to have the NFTs in there. But usually in a lot of these games, you have that pay to win aspects to it. So you have to pay for upgrades or to speed them up just so you can get to the next stage earlier. Is that mechanic built into the game as well for monetization and sustainable development?
No, and this is what we have learned. We like to go another way, not to speed up things, but to if you like to try it more than 3 times, because every match 3 game will be, of course, a challenge. And if you mess it up, and since we are more old school gamers and we remember the days when you have an arcade like Pac-Man machine and you have only 3 lives, and after 3 lives you have to put another $1, to get another 3 lives. This is not happening in today's games environment. Let's look at Super Mario. You have infinite lives. You can always start on a checkpoint, wherever. And this is what we are aiming for. You will have 3 tries, and if you mess this up, you then can put on another dime, another $1, whatever, into the machine, so into our mobile game, and have additional 3 new lives, something like this. Yeah. And there will be, of course, a battle pass for cosmetics and so on. This is always, but not the
Yes.
thing that, you need to create a windmill and it will took you 2 hours. And if you spend $5, then it's only 10 minutes. No, 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 no. This is not the way we like to monetize. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm really interested in this one when it comes out. I love the story based narrative around it, that end of world thing. But then twisting that green energy side of things too. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one when it comes out. And good luck with the Callus proposal. I'll get the links put it all in the video description here. So if anyone wants to support Tristopia, they can do so. So again, Marcin, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Pete. Have a nice one.
All right, we'll bring up our next guest here. Just give me 1 second. So we're just waiting for the video and stuff to load up. And this one here, we have Chris from Adosia. Now, I had no idea what Adosia was all about until I had a look into it a little bit deeper. And, it's a marketplace for 3D printed assets. And, I really wish I got into the whole 3D printing, the whole space, the maker space a little bit earlier. But now you can get a 3D printer fairly cheaply, and now you have marketplaces like this where you can pick up these 3D models and print out some really cool things, or even make your own and add it to that marketplace. But Chris is here to go through his Catalyst proposal, the Adosia open governance model. So this was pretty interesting, putting a DAO and stuff around it. So Chris, whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer for you and we can get going with your presentation.
Sounds good. And thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present our proposal. And we don't want to restrict ourselves to just 3D printing also. We do have another proposal. It's a marketplace edition feature, which will allow us to do things like die sublimation, CNC machining, CNC routers. We want to kind of broaden the scope of manufacturing, because I guess one of the key components of all of this that we're working on is sustainability and having a positive impact on the environment. And that is when you can manufacture things, locally close to you, where they're important, where they have the most impact, you reduce things like, shipping expenses and the fuel and resources associated with all those things. And on-demand manufacturing in general, you're not going to have warehousing problems like you would in traditional manufacturing sense, where you're having to produce, let's make 10,000 of these things or 1 million of these things and put them on a shelf somewhere. But yeah, so the open governance model, and if we have time, I'll talk a little bit more about the marketplace feature proposal as we wrap it up, if that's okay with you.
Yep, sure thing. Yep, go ahead.
But yeah, the team at Adosia, we're driven by a vision as it pertains to governance, right? And that is to revolutionize the way we approach governance models within the Cardano ecosystem. And by extension, delivering a tool that any project can leverage within their own infrastructure. Whether it's a big project, a small project, it doesn't matter. And the more research I've done on governance, the more I've come to realize and firmly believe that governance is really important for any kind of project. We've identified a challenge, and that is the prevalence of in-private governance models. We believe that Project Catalyst Sandbox for Innovation is the perfect place for us to make a difference with this. That's the heart of the Cardano's Voltaire era. It lies in that institutional design, and we want to take it to the next level. So our solution is, build in public. That approach to governance, I think, is a positive one. So this means we'll design our governance framework openly, transparently, sharing every step of our journey along the way. And we don't want to just stop at words. We want to release the entire work as an open source document and have extensive videos on this topic under Creative Commons, 4.0. So some of the things that you could expect from us on this journey would be information gathering. We're conducting a comprehensive survey of existing governance frameworks in various industries now to lay a solid foundation. That work has actually already started. Peter Wolcott and I have been kind of diving kind of deep into that. And I've been focused on corporate governance models because they're so easy to locate on the web and consume. The cultural aspects of governance is something that I personally have never really thought about, and the impacts of that are pretty considerable. You have the the Anglo-American model, the European model, the Asian model, and there's huge differences between them. From like if you look at companies like Canon, Dow Chemical, McDonald's, we kind of looked at all those as kind of a starting point for some of this research. Community involvement. So we're all about inclusivity. We want to seek input from anybody we can get it from through platforms like Twitter Spaces and town halls, YouTube discussions like we're having here. And we believe that community collaboration enriches our framework. The deliverables, obviously, our commitment will culminate in the creation of the ADOJA governance framework version 1.0 for us, because it's something that we need. I'm just going to look at my map over here. With ADOJA's governance, there's so many, it's like an octopus. I mean, there's so many parts. I have a big map on my wall of kind of how we're going to lay this all out. So, on one side, we have a Scrum Master. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. A print pool controller, design pool controller, global shipping controller. Then we have Discord moderators. We have marketing creators. We have product owners. And in the center of that hub, we have the Scrum Master. And, going through the rest of the chart, we have product backlog, sprint backlogs, action logs, and then you work your way over, and then you have a kind of a committee situation where, multi-sigs live. And so all these different elements, whether it's, you're trying to manage quality control and remediation and, the design data for a given product being loaded into an NFT correctly, all these things have to be managed. And with the intention of this becoming completely decentralized and completely out of our hands and managed by the community, we need to have a robust framework of governance in place so all these things can function, in an autonomous way. And
Okay, there's a lot of work there for you guys to go through and building and collecting all the data for these different governance models. So that's the time for the actual initial overview of that. So we've got a bit of time for the Q&A session. I do have some questions for you, and could probably touch on the marketplace a little bit more as well. Sure. I'm always interested in how you guys are building that one out. Now, in regards to this one, how much you've already started the work, but how much funding do you guys need to continue the work on it, and what's the timeline for this?
We're planning for 6 months or less, and we've budgeted it at 107.5K ADA, so 107,500 ADA.
I always have to do the conversion. It changes every single day in regards to the price of that. Let me just check that in USD, and that way people can have a slightly more relatable one. About 27,000 at the moment. So it might have been 30,000 when you're going when you were doing it originally. That seems like quite an affordable amount and a good amount of investment, especially if you're sharing this out and making it open source for the rest of the Cardano ecosystem to dig into and actually use in regards to what you guys are building out for in terms of governance model. So I absolutely love that. Now, in regards to the other side of the things that you're doing, the marketplace stuff, can you talk a little bit more about what the next phase of that and what you're doing with that proposal?
Yeah, so the marketplace feature edition. So essentially the intention there, which is a little bit more involved in even governance probably, but we want to allow users and designers and makers to be able to collaborate freely with each other. So there's not just, here's this thing on the site, do I want to buy it? Yes or no. There's more of a give and take, and um, embedded in that is the ability to say, okay, I have here's this thing off of my nail gun. It broke. I need to have this another one made, and I can't buy this part. You can give that data to someone, say, and this is made out of plastic. I want to have it made out of aluminum. Well, we have someone identified within the global network who can machine aluminum close to you, uh, and so we can reduce the all of the resource and environmental costs associated with that, and put you in contact with someone who's competent and knows how to manufacture that part, can do it timely and at a rate that you agree upon. And so yes, so CNC machining is one of them. Die sublimation, CNC routing. And we want to go even further beyond that with stuff like PCB manufacture and powder coating, those kinds of services. But for now, we kind of want to focus on manufacturing, machining, really in a CNC kind of format. Anything that can utilize G code that the manufacturer can then convert into something that's usable by their machines.
Okay. A lot of terminology there that I'm not familiar with, because I think the last time I made anything was probably in high school in a machining workshop. So, a lot of that stuff I'm still catching up on, and I really, really got to get my hands on a 3D printer and start playing around with some stuff and get into
awesome.
this ecosystem. But Chris, I'll grab all the links. I'll make sure everything is in the show notes for everyone. Is there any last comments or anything that you'd like to let the community know?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the open governance model, I know the feasibility and the value for the money is going to be a kind of a big topic for people, and I really want to drive home that what we aim to create is a system of governance that's open source, that any project can use, and it's modular in a sense where, if I'm a small NFT project, I might only need these two pieces to make governance make sense in my situation, and us be able to propel our success further. But something as complex as an entire DAO, because essentially that's what a lot of this, this architecture is going to amount to. And so we want to give the community a tool, and hopefully be able to, give them the ability to, further, collaboration across communities, because, more than anything, I think governance is going to add its efficiency. Efficiency. If you're incredibly efficient, you're going to attract more developers. You're going to attract new users. You're going to attract community collaboration in general. When you can get all those things going, obviously there's an economic impact to a project, because you want to be sustainable, want to be able to thrive and survive. But the ability to have long-lasting impact and staying power, I think, is far more attainable if you have some structure of governance within your own platform, your community.
I completely agree. A lot of crypto projects, a lot of projects in general, it's all about community. It's not just crypto space. It's like, your everyday in real life stuff. It's all about the community. It's all about the people around you. You can build up an amazing economy, economics, tokenomics, whatever it is. But if you don't have the people there to use the platforms, engage with each other, then what's the point? There's nothing there. So, it's, and having the modularization of the governance models that you guys are researching into, so you can pick and choose whatever works best, is a really good approach. Anyone can start picking it up. I find governance really, really hard. and having some sort of
is.
roadmap. It is so hard because
Yeah.
people argue, and people arguing about governance is a good thing. It means that the people are really passionate about whatever the project is. So having all these bits and pieces out there to try and make that process easier and Lego together a roadmap for governance for various projects is, I think, really crucial. That's our time too. So I think it's a beautiful thing that you guys are building. I think it's really hard. I didn't even attend one of the SIP 1694 workshops because I know how hard it is. So it's good that you guys are putting the time and effort into it so that you can leapfrog other communities forward into this. The last thing I'd like to say is voting around the world is so different. Every country does it differently. Yeah.
Yep.
And here in Australia, we have a preferential voting mechanism where, you got voting 1 to 6 or whatever it is. And each one of those numbers has sort of an impact. Whereas other countries, it's just vote for this or vote for this, or you vote for this, but we'll give it to this other guy anyway. So, it's a very interesting way of how, governance works, but it's and different models that people can choose from.
100%.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I'll put all the links and references to the Catalyst proposal in the notes, and we will hopefully shine a little bit more light on the project that you're doing there, both the projects, and we'll talk again really soon.
Awesome, Peter. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, man. We really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Take care, man.
All right, so we have our last guest coming up now, and this is Augustine, and I believe the other one is Antonio. So Antonio and Augustine are joining us on this last Catalyst proposal that's coming up. So there we go. The camera's up and running. So we'll just check the audio levels here. How are you guys both doing?
Doing great. It's great to be here with you, Peter.
All right. Audio is good. Video is good. Thank you very much. So this last Catalyst proposal, this one came in a little bit late, but this one is really interesting. This is around zero knowledge proofs, something that isn't really that prevalent in the Cardano ecosystem at the moment, but we're going to see a lot more of it. But this one also ties in Hydra too. So, the two big things in one proposal. I think this is really cool. I did check out the demo video of that game that what's the game called? I can't remember what it's called now. But Mastermind. Yes, I used to play that when I was little. But it's a really cool visualization of how it all works. And the guys here are to talk through their Catalyst proposal and the next stage that they're going through. So Antonio, Augustine, you have 5 minutes to go through the proposal, and then we have a little QA session afterwards. So whenever you're ready, please go ahead. You can share your screen as well. There's a share screen button if you have anything to share too.
All right, so I'll share my screen, which will be everything, so to make it simpler. And I believe that if I press this button, this will become a slideshow. Can you see my slideshow?
Yes. Have you ready?
Okay, great. So our proposal is for empowering Cardano with zero knowledge proofs. So this proposal actually is an evolution of a project that we developed in the Emurgo hackathon, and where we actually use this mastermind proof of concept. And so what we want to do is to continue that project in order to have a tool that is called SNARKs or CK SNARKs working on the Cardano blockchain. So before going into that, so what are the zero knowledge proofs? Well, a range of cryptographic schemes that rely in the idea of demonstrating secrets or facts with proofs instead of directly revealing the information. So many times I would like to keep some privacy, but at the same time be transparent. So how can I be transparent and at the same time keep privacy? So there is where there comes the magic of zero knowledge proofs, where I can prove to you that something is true without revealing the complete information. So zero knowledge proofs have novel blockchain applications, such as privacy. For example, anonymous swaps or DApps that have privacy into them. And also scalability solutions like bridges, rollups, and cross-chain protocols. So zero-knowledge proofs are really hot, are really something useful, and it's something that the Cardano blockchain needs to have more solutions about those solutions for zero-knowledge proofs. So in particular, we have decided to focus our catalyst proposal with a type of zero-knowledge proof that is called SNARKs, which is an acronym that stands for Succinct Non-Interactive Argument of Knowledge. And these type of zero-knowledge proofs have some very important advantages. They are small, so that means that they are cheap in terms of storage. They are efficient, so that means faster to verificate. And the non-interactive part means that they don't saturate the network. So they are very suited in the context of blockchain. So what is the context of our proposal? The context is that currently Cardano is immature in the field, but has the opportunity to leverage innovations from other blockchain systems, like, for example, Ethereum. Now, I have to point out that, of course, we are not the only ones working into bringing more zero-knowledge solutions to Cardano. There are many other exciting projects, so we want to contribute, to be one of the contributors in this wave of new solutions in the context of zero-knowledge proofs. So what is the challenge? Well, we have an adaptation challenge and an efficiencies challenge. So the implementation of key pieces of technology tailored specifically for Cardano, such as smart contracts that validates the proof. That is, we want to use the way that the EUTXO model of Cardano works and smart contracts in the context of the EUTXO model that can perform a part of the zero-knowledge proof protocol that is called the validation. So, and the efficiency, this implies that the technical challenge of working around the resource limitations of the network while maintaining the blockchain propagation smooth, right? So this is the challenge, that we have some limits on the amount of information that we can process in a smart contract in the main net of Cardano. So we, as I mentioned, we have implemented a proof of concept in the form of the mastermind game. And in doing this proof of concept, we very, very rapidly realized that we would not be able to implement our zero-knowledge solution directly on mainnet, because of the last challenge that I mentioned. So Hydra, there is where Hydra come into place. So we open a Hydra head in order to be able to run this game. And within Hydra, we are able to use more computational resources in order to run the zero-knowledge algorithms. And what is our solution? So the solution for which we are asking funding in Catalyst is to extend what we have already achieved in the context of our hackathon project, for which I should mention, I mean, we won second place in this last hackathon, so we are very happy about it. And we want to extend what we have already achieved to develop a CK smart contracts library that can work in the context of the Cardano blockchain using the Hydra protocol. So we want to create these toolings that will allow Hydra to be the basis of running the CK smart contracts library. And that's basically what we want to do in a nutshell. And here is the QR link for our idea scale proposal. And more information about what we are doing can be found in this website here. So that is, I think I spent almost 5 minutes, I'm not sure.
Pretty much right on time. Pretty much right on time. It's just a little tiny bit over, so all good. Now, I'll just start the timer for the QA session here. First off, I'll just make a comment from the live stream. There's a user here, Ubo, that is also working on zero knowledge. on Cardano and would love to collaborate. So I'll forward the details, and
Yes.
maybe a conversation can start there as well.
That would
So
be great. And you
first
have
off-
you have our emails over there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all on the website there. It's all on the screen at the moment. So scan that QR code and jump in on that email address, and you'll be able to start chatting about it.
Yes, send
Cool.
send us
Awesome.
a message, and we can talk.
Brilliant. Okay, just got a bit of background noise coming in from one of you guys.
Yes. Can you shut me down for a while because I have some noise here.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So first off, if you could just stop the share screen there as well, Antonio. I don't have control of that.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So my first question here, the funding for it is low for building something like this, and I think the timeline is 4 to 6 months, so it's quite a little bit of time for a very low funding. How are you guys sustaining yourselves, or did the hackathon give you a nice cash boost injection to be able to develop what you guys are doing? Antonio, just a mute now.
Yes, sorry. Yes, I forgot that I was muted. So since we won our prize, we have some money already, and we probably will get some more funding from the Emorgo Venture arm. So that's one part of it. But on the other hand, I mean, we could have sent various catalyst proposals around the idea of this zero knowledge proof. Since we already have something already built, we think that we will not need as much resources to complete the solution that will be exactly this CK Snarks library. So that's the reason. I mean, because if we wanted to have more funding, we would have needed to actually ask for not just one but more catalyst proposals. Yeah.
Understood. Now, the other question was I had was around the technicals of this and having it in Hydra. So having it in Hydra means it's just peer to peer, one person to one person, one Hydra head to one Hydra head. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so how does it work to onboard lots of users using some sort of application such as the Mastermind game? How do we get like a lot of people using the application or DApp or whatever it is that people build around it? I'm just trying to work out how does this scale up to lots and lots of users.
Yeah, well, we are thinking in the context where there is one prover and one verifier, right? So you solve that solution using the Hydra head, and then you roll up and record the information on the main net. So if we have multiple players, then each pair of players would have their own Hydra head and their own roll up. And then the history of the transactions will become part of the main chain, mainnet. So yeah, of course, all there are business cases. Maybe we have to think about having not just one prover, but maybe more provers, or maybe more verifiers. But that still can be done with a small number of participants using a Hydra head. And then this would be like a set of participants that would be rolled up into the main net, and then other Hydra heads would be open for other set of participants.
Okay, I'm trying to understand resource usage for spinning up a Hydra head. So each time, like for example, in the Mastermind game, 2 participants start a new game and pair up. New Hydra heads have to be formed. Is that much of a resource intensive process? And how much does a Hydra head use to be able to do this?
Yeah, well, in terms of the blockchain, no, it's not an expensive operation for the main blockchain. But probably you are asking about, once the Hydra head is opened, how much computational resources you need from the participants. That's a very good question, because in trying to optimize our code, we were reaching some limits in our computers. They are not supercomputers, but we were reaching some limits, and that is part of the optimization that we want to achieve. That's part of the unfinished work that we want to finish with the funds from this Catalyst proposal. Some optimizations that need to be done in order so that these resources are more modest.
See, yes, we have the algorithms, but we have to make it more faster to showcase and to be a feasible solution.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if you have to fire up a Hydra head and the resources for it are really expensive, then you lose that benefit of having it on the roll up and making it faster and cheaper. But the infrastructure costs a fortune to do so. So you lose that advantage there.
Yeah, we need to have this optimized.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
That's
that
one
you're
of the
working
objectives. Yeah.
Yes. Good that it's on the list to do.
And
okay.
Another thing that I will point about that is that this is a proof of concept, and we hope that this will hopefully in the future could be just we can run the validators in the mainnet. So we want to implement first in the Hydra, and hopefully that progress moves to the mainnet. And there's some SIP going on right now that wants the pairing function that validates the zero knowledge proof be a built-in function of Bluetooth. So that is interest, and I'm pushing forward to that direction.
Okay, very, very cool. I did check out the website, that mastermind game as well. I highly encourage anyone that's interested in Hydra, interested in zero knowledge proofs, to check out the game so they can actually understand how it all works. And thank you for putting that video together. It made it really easy to understand how the hashes work to make that proof and then match it on the other side too. So thank you so much for putting that all together. But gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this call as well. That's just our time for the QA session as well. I'll put the links and references again, all in the show notes for anyone that's interested and hopefully support this one. And final word, congratulations on the Mergo Hackathon too.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
And that is it for another episode of the Catalyst Sprints. Thank you so much for joining me on this one. If you missed anything, you can always play back. I'll put the chapter markers and links to everything up in a moment as well, so you can find out a little bit more information about this. Our next one is tomorrow in about 36 hours or so from now, roughly, if I got that conversion right. And you'll be able to catch another 4 awesome projects going through their Catalyst proposals. Punching through these quite a lot lately, so you can find out everything that's happening in the Cardano ecosystem around Project Catalyst. Now, last final reminder, don't forget to register your wallets. You have roughly less than a day now to do so. So make sure you get that all registered or re-registered if you have to. I'll be doing mine right after this call. But thank you everyone for joining on the live stream. Thank you for the comments and questions as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. Liking a live stream is really important so that it gets it out there and more people can see it. I really